My name is Mike Livermore. I'm part of the IT leadership team here at Moen, and my job and role in life is to focus on global operations. So I support manufacturing, supply chain, distribution, get the parts, make the stuff. Moen is a brand leader in the US and in North America. We are growing rapidly, and that's part of our challenge, which led to our supply chain investment with Reveal. I came across them at a supply chain event, and I sat in one of their sessions, and it just really resonated with me that the ability to leverage capability you have to drive improvement at a factual KPI metric level, and to do it without needing to buy a lot more software. Moen is very interested in being responsible for our own future, for our own outcomes. So just the message of clarity, using what you already have, taking advantage of capability you already own, which you're probably under leveraging, and then being responsible for your own future as we make this kind of transformation just really hit home. It just made perfect common sense. Everybody we had talked to and what we found on our own is you really know the space you're in. You have proven track records, and the people individually, not just the company name, but the people individually coming through the door demonstrated that. So I think it's practical credibility and street smarts, having been there, done that, as opposed to theoretical textbook kind of learning. I think the two primary things we were looking to address were, like a lot of companies, we had a lot of inventory and struggling service. So we had lots of parts, and we still weren't serving our customer. And the other thing we were looking at, which really isn't supply chain execution, but I believe falls in the vein of organizational capability, was sort of re-skilling and strengthening the skill of our planning and scheduling and supply chain organizations. What we liked about Reveal of going right into our core business system inside ECC and looking at performance and history. The apprehension, of course, is that someone will tell you you're not quite as good as you think you are, and that's kind of what we were expecting to hear, and we did hear, frankly, because having lots of inventory, some service gaps, we're working very hard to do things. There's probably something under the water you may not be seeing, and when the Reveal team came in during that first analysis phase, they were very open and honest and direct, and that's what we liked and wanted, is we see these things, we can see where you're performing or not performing just by looking at the data. I think the senior leadership team and the executive team here was very open-minded, listened with critical thinking, but openly to the feedback. And in the end, we really left that process, that discussion, with our heads nodding, saying, yes, we see what you see. I think some of the most basic things that come from this methodology, which are sort of simple in motherhood and apple pie, yet very compelling, is what we were interested in. Concepts like one system of record, working in your core business system. That was one of the habits we had developed over years of people pulling out information, developing their own views of things, developing their own spreadsheets, 18 different answers to the same question. So working in the system, the organization bending in and everybody working in a common set of insight and common tool set was critical. Certainly the daily operational aspects of measuring and monitoring exceptions, looking for where the system is outright telling you you're out of alignment with demand and supply, you're going to be late, you have too much inventory. We don't need derived ways to do that, of just leveraging the insight that's already in your planning system and putting it to work. And then probably the third thing was the process-aligned teams concept was really compelling. And it was a hard thing, I'll be honest, it was a hard thing for us to get our head around at first, that it's easy to say we want to do that. You go, yes, we're all going to work together, and then you go back to your desk and work individually. So that was as much of a DNA change for the organization and people individually as anything, but the process-aligned team, the ecosystem working together, turned out to be one of the most important and beneficial parts of the puzzle. First of all, our executives were very clear every day. This was not a project. This is not an initiative with an end date and it's over with. This is a way we're going to work. And that was a visible and consistent message that came to the organization. We are going to change the way we behave. We are going to change the way we expect our outcomes to happen. And we're going to change the tool set and methodology we apply. It is not a project with an end date. It is a way of life. Definitively, yes. Our inventory is down. Our asset utilization is better where we want it to be. Service is up and sustained. Late elements are not zero, but certainly dramatically less than before, and exceptions and all that. So at a macro level, I would say all the meters have moved in the right direction. And we credit it to the initiative, realistically, and Reveal's coaching. This isn't something you do one day and the next day it's a miracle. You know, it's people change, process change, outcome change, supply chain change. But I would say probably the better part of a year to build the habit, start to see sustained, not just sort of spot results, but sustained results where things are going in the right direction and staying there. Intangible benefits, I think, would fall in a couple categories. One would certainly be trust in your core business system. Because before the behavior was take information out, we'll roll our own view. I don't think I can really rely on what MRP or any of the exceptions are telling me. So intangibly, just having everybody work in the common system together has been a great byproduct. I think it has produced a collaborative mindset among people who believed they were working together but really weren't necessarily on a daily basis. They would take action and tell the other person but not do it together to solve a common goal. And I think in the end, the fact that the measures and the outcomes have gone in the right direction has proven both sort of satisfying, for lack of a better word. Like if we invested all this energy and it seems to be working, there's sort of a human aspect to that, like it feels good. And then in the end, you know, it's a financial tie to the business too. Asset utilization, inventory, service to our customer. It comes back to our bottom line and our top line. We give you a lot of credit for, and we were very happy with, is A, you held us accountable for how it was progressing. This is our company to run, it's our outcomes, it's our people, so if something was drifting in the wrong direction, it's not necessarily your job, that's our job to go pick that up, and you poked us where necessary to do that. And then you also wisely changed driver's seat to the back seat with us. You know, we're going to show you how, we're going to lead you, we're going to tell you the way, but in the end, Moen, this is your business to run. You have to know how to do this every day. So now you're going to drive and we're going to sit behind you. Then we're going to coach a little bit from afar, and slowly but surely we disengage and you run your business. Now 2 years in, literally 2 years in this February, we know it's systemic. It's part of the way we do our business. It's org capability that's been built up, which is what we were after, the skill sets and the proficiencies in the people. And the mindset and the habit has now become habit. It's not something I learned and I try to do it every day. It is the way we run our business. I would absolutely recommend Reveal again. I'm going to close with something a benchmark customer up front had told us while we were still thinking about Reveal and this whole thing. They said it was the hardest thing they've done and they would do it again in a minute. And I think at this point, 2 years in, having gone through this transformation, having used Reveal as a partner heavily during that transformation, we would use Reveal again, absolutely. We would go through this transformation again, absolutely. And it is not easy, but we would do it again in a heartbeat.